Hello. So I knew I needed to tell this story because I woke up at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and I was hearing myself tell this story and I was like, okay, guides, I get the message. And this obviously needs to be shared or has like codes for someone. So as you'll see from the title, it is something along the lines of the times I've spent my last £100 on a healing session, and this has happened on numerous occasions. So I would say at least 4 or 5 occasions that I can think of, especially near the beginning of my healing journey, I decided to spend my last amount of money on a healing session. And as I was feeling into this, I was like, I already know some people are going to be majorly triggered by this. And first of all, I'm not suggesting anybody does this. I'm just sharing from my perspective, from my experience. And there has been times where it's like I think especially when we're near the start of our healing journey, it's like there can be so much stuff coming up and we don't necessarily have the tools and the experience, like the knowledge and experience of being on this journey. And so I knew at certain points it was like I need support. I need to book a session. I need someone that can help me. And it wasn't a case of I could just go to a doctor with the things that I was experiencing and saying, look, I'm seeing all of these beings around me. I'm, I feel everything, A doctor is not going to be able to help me with that. A doctor is probably going to say that I have like serious psychosis or something like that, which I knew wasn't the case. I knew that I'm hypersensitive. And so the only people that were going to be able to help me were psychics, were healers, were shamans. And there have been times where it was like I was just about to pass through a threshold or step into the next layer of myself, and I find that is usually the hardest time. That is usually the time where it feels like everything is going wrong and fucking up, and it just feels so, everything is like so loud, and that is, I find, generally the biggest sign that you are about to do a major timeline shift, that you're about to make a major quantum leap. And now I find I need to book sessions less, depending on what I'm experiencing. But I have had a lot of healing sessions, a lot, because I had a lot of stuff to deal with, and it helped. It really helped like nothing else ever had. Quantum healing, shamanic healing, that was the things that I found were most helpful for me, and are the things I ended up training in. So there have been times where I have been at that really, really low point and literally had enough money for a healing session, and I thought, fuck it. I'm doing it, I'm buying it. And then always what would happen synchronistically is I would get money from somewhere, or something would come through shortly after where it's like my bank balance topped up again. But had I scrimped, and had I been coming from that place of scarcity of like, oh shit, if I spend this, I'm not going to have X, Y, and Z. And sometimes, it's like that is part of the leap. That is part of the portal. That is part of the gateway, is to trust that you are infinitely held in abundance and that money will come to you. And so, sometimes people say to me like, I don't have enough money for a session, and I'm never going to sit and say, yes, you do, because that's just not appropriate. But where there is a will, there is a way. And I believe that because I have been there scraping my pennies together and knowing that this person has the codes that I need to be able to accelerate, to be able to move, and being like, you know what, that is the most important thing to me right now, is to be able to shift out of where it is that I am at. I've also borrowed money from people, who've very kindly allowed me to pay them back, because I knew that what was most important to me was my healing, and that debt is not a dirty word. As if you're borrowing money ethically, there is nothing wrong with that. It's sometimes the bridge which allows you to elevate, and so often some of the things I was dealing with were like, there's no free service that's gonna support you in that, and it was always mirroring back to me something deeper about my own sense of poverty programming, of scarcity programming, growing up predominantly with a single parent, and all of that kind of the ways that imprints in your subconscious mind. And by me letting go of that, releasing that into the into the ether, into the universe, and also supporting someone else's abundance, that would always come back to me in some way. So I would always kind of put it out there that if the one thing that's making you go, okay, no, I can't book this session with somebody, is money, I would say put that aside. Don't allow that to be the only reason that you don't seek healing, because so much is shifting with the frequency and vibration of money right now. Money is circulating back into the hands of people who can truly hold it, so healers and helpers. And we're seeing this these new earth grids which hold these very different forms of abundance, of people that will be able to recirculate it in a way that is supportive for the collective. That is what we are seeing, and that's kind of obvious on so many levels. And so if you are investing in yourself, if you are investing in your healing, if you are investing in something that is genuinely gonna support you, you're never gonna be in a place of scarcity around that. You are only ever going to reap more abundance because of your trust, because of your surrender, because of your release of those poverty grids. So I would say, if you're putting off booking the session, if you're resistant to booking the session, it usually means you need to book the session. So thank you for listening to this, and take care.